Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise, and we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Hello dear viewer, dear listener, my name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. I'm coming to you once again with life-changing, powerful, empowering information in this wonderful show of ours, Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We don't take it for granted that you switched on to watch us, and we would really be appreciative if you haven't done so already, if you could kindly subscribe to our channel. And my guest today, you're going to just love this guest. He's a business coach and an ESD practitioner. You'll find out in a moment what that means. His name is Sereme. Welcome, Mos. Welcome, Mr. Sereme, to the show.
Afternoon, say. Yeah. How are you?
It's a pleasure.
I'm so privileged to be part of your sessions.
Thank you. I think a good starting point is for you to give us a little bio, introduction, your background.
You know, that's a question that I normally hope it doesn't come because one doesn't know where to start.
Yes.
Because we normally don't celebrate our small achievements. Mm-hmm. And one of the biggest mistakes is when we celebrate our small achievements, we celebrate for too long and forget to open room for new challenges and new accolades. I'll start by saying my name is Sereme, born in Soweto, grew up in Mafikeng and settled in Rustenburg. My main office is in Rustenburg. Having sub-offices in Kimberley, Northern Cape, South Africa. I do a lot of traveling to Rwanda, to Ghana for business purposes. Do a lot of traveling to Botswana, business purposes.
Wow.
So I'm a business coach professional. I call myself an Aston Martin of enterprise development.
Why Aston Martin?
If you give me anything that is enterprise development, anything to do with small businesses, startups, I'll tell you with my eyes closed. I started my first business when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
And we didn't know the word entrepreneurship by then. It was just put something on table so that you don't suffer anymore. You know, poverty will drive into levels that you don't know. But the good thing is you learn over the years. And I always question young entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, young people also, to say, don't think that success is an overnight process. Because we have pushed ourselves as Africans to believe that you can plow a seed today and you reap tomorrow.
Wow.
And it doesn't happen. And since the year 12 years old, I don't know anything about what capital is. Nobody gave me capital, which is a biggest cry of and a biggest excuse of our young people, that I can't start because I don't have capital. I can't go to university because I don't have money to pay for myself. I can't start because my parents divorced. I can't start because
all
of this
those
and
excuses.
Yeah, all those excuses.
I call it excusitis.
So,
It's a
and
disease.
unfortunately, excuses will never excuse you. That's something you know. You can put whatever
excuses will be there, but they will never excuse you.
So whether you excuse
Explain that.
Whether you complain, when you cry, we all have problems. And that is why we say 90% of people you telling their problems, they don't even care. 10% they thinking whether they could care. So you are on your own when you've got problems.
Yeah.
So everyone has their problems, and problems have their own levels. If your level of dreams, it's lower level, your problems will be lower level problems. If I'm worried about double story, you will worry about a shape. If somebody worries about a Mercedes Benz, somebody worries about a bicycle, and you cannot bother them with the Mercedes Benz because they understand the bicycle.
We're coming to that. I can see why you had a difficulty when I said the bio. It's very, very vast. But let me see if I can contain it. Academically, you started working at age 12, but academically, did you do anything?
Yeah, I did my undergraduate degree with University of Northwest.
And what?
Bachelor in management. I did my honors Bachelor of Management, and then I did my diploma in finance with Orbit College. And I'm still thinking because I want to be called a PhD graduate, not a doctor, but a PhD graduate.
Yeah.
And
because you have a first degree and a second,
yeah,
a master's. Then you're working on a.
No, I'm working on my master's.
Yeah. Okay.
Currently, yeah. So, and I'm currently doing a certificate in film production because my first movie is due in 2024.
Wow.
So that's academic
Very,
space.
very interesting. You started at 12 and then you came up with this entity called the Accuracy Group. Tell us about that entity.
Accuracy Group is is a brainchild of various companies that I used to own. My first company when I started, I was just doing, 12 years old, I started my first mobile, fruit and veg mobile business. You know, we give them fancy titles, but it was simply I was selling vegetables in my community with a wheelbarrow.
Wow.
But the secret part of it, I was behind. I hired people who could do that. So I bought a stock, packaged the stock, give them a business model. Go and drop at this pensioner, go and drop at this pensioner. The cash sell to this one, sell to this one. So 15 years old, I was tired doing that. I started my photography business. 18 years old, finished my matric. And then there I was thinking, where am I going from here? Like we said, excuses, there was no money for me to go to university. So I had to think of the possible way. I started modeling agency, started doing concerts, beauty contests. One of the things that I still credit to myself, I started Miss High School Highs in Mafikeng. So I'll do the contests on various high schools, and then getting all those queens, then they go and fight for one Miss Mafikeng High School's title, and then the same thing with primary schools, and I was doing that. Then it made me cry. That's the first business that dropped my tear.
Why? Why did you cry?
Here we were in the Mogobe in the finals, booked the hall, secured sponsorship.
Right here in Mafikeng?
In Mafikeng. Edgar's was part of the sponsorships to dress the contestants. Game said, I'll give you the prices. And then we printed 500 tickets for the capacity of the hall. And then guess what, Mogobe? Only 30 people came. That's the first time I dropped a tear. And that day I was supposed to motivate my contestants. And there they were at the back motivating me. Moss, you did your part. We're going to go on the stage. We're going to do our part for 30 people. So we'll do it as if there's 500 people. Then I stopped crying and my contest continued. Then after that, I continued doing them around in Rustenburg.
Wow.
Yeah.
Your story sounds like that of Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry said he tried this about 3-4 years. Very few people turned up. He was crying, but he never gave up. Through persistence, one day he struck gold. And look at him now, he's a billionaire.
That's why we say ambition is priceless. And an ambition builds confidence. A lot of people, they are looking for confidence and they leave ambition. So how can you be confident on something that you don't know what you're going to do? So that's all these platforms build me into what I am and then build a confidence.
Explain that for the viewer, that you're saying that confidence without ambition is not much. So what do you mean?
It means when you sit down and think you can be confident in doing something that you don't even know what is that, you are just lying to yourself. So you have to build a dream, and your dream has to build an ambition towards a dream. And then you have to design method and systems as to how you're going to achieve that. And in a process, that is when you understand that you need to be confident, meaning you need to know that you developed a skill and a dream to achieve what you want to achieve.
Wow.
So in short, even me, 15 years down the line, I still get butterflies when I have to take a mic and climb the stage. And I guess even you,
to some extent.
To put somebody here and interview, you still have those camera butterflies.
Yes,
but
yes.
You remember, what's my ambition? And then you work towards that ambition that you've built and put on table.
You've covered me. You've answered me. I'm happy. Mondo Holdings, that's your other entity which you formed. Tell us what led to the formation of that one. What is it about? I know that agro-processing is involved.
One day I was driving to Northern Cape from Mafikeng. So you'll know there's a town called Hartswater when you pass Taung, where the olives in South Africa are produced. And I went inside there, I said, I want to look at this thing called olives. because there's a bitter taste around this thing. Then I went there, and wow, when I got there, they set up everything, gave me a reason to go there, and started to taste these things, and I fell in love with olives. Then I said,
I literally love olives.
I can't just fall in love with olives. What now from here? Then I started making research about the benefits of olives, and I realized, oh, this is something that can solve health problems. Then I established a company that can do with olives. So we extract olive oil, we do olives packaging, we sell to hospitality.
So in other words, you buy from olive farmers.
So because they are big, these are people who supply the entire Southern Africa market, including your ShopRites, your Woolworths. So when you go there, you must know you're competing with big shots. So then you need to do what? You need to scale and to design your own market market share. So my market share was your smaller guys, your B&Bs, your lodges, your hotels, to say, I can sell you direct at a better price because your fruit, your green salad will definitely require olives. That's how my business started. Then I started, okay, can I add something on there? That is when I added your cashew nuts. That is when I added your
you actually bottling the olives.
Packaging and stuff. So putting value addition. Like currently we're thinking of designing products that now are beneficial, like your facial skins, your hair products.
Mondo Holdings currently based?
We in Rustenburg, but now we're designing our factory just here in Ramatlabama. When you skip the border, one day look at your right, when you pass there, you'll see a building
Mondo
there, Mondo Holdings.
Yeah.
Get in there and tell them, must say I must pick up my stuff. So
I'll definitely do that.
We went to Kenya. We are busy in negotiations for tea. We want to buy tea from Kenya and do the tea packaging for them, because Kenya is one of the best when it comes to that platform. And we are now going into wine production. So there's a lot that is coming through Mondo Holdings.
So how many people are currently employed by both Accuracy and Mondo Holdings?
We are still a small staffed company. In Accuracy Group, we've got two divisions. We've got Accuracy Group that housing the startup village, where we're doing enterprise development, coaching, and mentorship for small startups, and we've got about 7 employees. And then on the Mondo Holdings, because we're still building it, we have 4 currently. So my staff complement is around 12 people, including me.
And you in terms of the manufacturing and the packaging process, how did you train yourself to become proficient?
Dr. Google.
Yeah.
Dr. Google. A lot of things that I know, I never went to school for. And I'll shock you, 90% of things that I do, my qualifications, my degree and my honors contribute 10% into that. A lot of the things that I learn are from the University of Street, coupled with Dr. Google. So
along with Mr. YouTube.
Mr. YouTube. So that's how I learn. And when there's a platform to learn that I spend money. If there's anything that I do in my life for personal development, I spend money. When they say there's something in Paris, when they say there's something in China, when they say something in Ghana, I'll definitely book a ticket and go and learn. And when I come from there, I come with a skill that I have to impact.
I can believe it, because you're here in Botswana for something. All right. One of the things we're talking about is scaling, really growing the companies. And why is growth and scaling important?
Let's begin with saying there's nothing that is tiring like the word small business. And now we're entering an era where entrepreneurship is becoming an annoying word again, because we're preaching something that we don't live, because we're creating these cosmetic entrepreneurs that we see on Facebooks and other social media, that I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a hustler, there's a new word, hustler, and you're sitting down and say, but what is the value in everything that you're doing? Because now it seems like we want everybody to become an entrepreneur. And it goes back to our question that we normally debate as business coaches, is entrepreneur born or made? Now you sit down and look at how many people
the
think
answer is made and born.
Yeah,
both.
You understand? So my question is, why do we think it's too small for too long? Somebody calls small businesses, even after 10 years. You meet me this year, 2021, 2031, and most, how far are you? Hey, Mogobe is still hard. I'm a small business. You know how hard is these things. So when are we going to step up? So the step up part, that is what is confusing us. And then we confuse scalability with growth. We think growth is scalability. That when you've got 2 employees, you think you are scaling. You are growing, you are not scaling. You are expanding
Just
yourself,
numbers,
but you are not scaling. What is scaling? Scaling is tripling or doubling now your resources in terms of 10xing in terms of your revenue line. So what is your revenue line? Is it linear or linear growth or linear down? What is your level of scalability? Now we need to sit down and start asking our small businesses and say, okay, you are starting in 2021. Give us your next 6 months, which is your short-term goals. Give us your 18 months, which is your medium-term goals. Give us your 36 months, which is your long-term goals. 36 months plus, we want you to understand. And I always tell people, don't go in business and make money. You'll fall hard. Because a business that
You're
gives
looking
you
at the wrong target.
business that gives you money now, you must know it's a wrong business. You must know it's a wrong business. It's going to show you flames. That is why you find startups.
Why do
like
you say that?
Because I call it a drop ball. Normally a drop ball, if you know soccer, a lot of times good players are players who looks at where the ball is going to drop next. Then comfortable players who think they've got it all, they look at the ball where it's dropping now. So that's what makes Ronaldo and Lionel Messi different players, because they will tell you the space before it's been created. They will even create the space before it's not even possible. And then they become, and that's what we want in entrepreneurship. That is why Japan is so far from us. That is why China is catching up with Japan, because they know their next 10 years. When you are busy celebrating a roll-on or a toothpaste, they already know the toothpaste and the roll-on that they're going to produce in 10 years. So
you're saying don't celebrate cash now.
Don't celebrate cash now. Build resources, build systems, build the market, create a traction. Then you can sit down and say, can I now accept? Because there are 2 ways of doing business. It's either you are solution orientated or profit orientated. And there's no miracle about that. Look at what happened to Nokia. Because it was a profit orientated business. The case study is here to say innovation beat them. And then now came the new
BlackBerry,
guys. Things with BlackBerry, same with Blockbuster. Whoever
same
thought
with Kodak.
So many. So whoever thought, I mean, if you know, I think you might be familiar with Greyhound. Where is Greyhound today?
I was shocked to hear that it's fallen victim to COVID.
So Greyhounds are those.
Is Greyhound? This one? No. This is it. Intercape.
No, Greyhound. It's Greyhound.
It's also
Intercape. When it becomes hard, they started going into tracking. So that's what you do. So when you are into profit making or profit oriented business type of a business, you are looking on the table.
You're looking at the now.
At the now. So when you're looking at solution, remember, solution is what creates legacy. If there's a problem in Botswana of water, if there's a problem of medical supplies in Botswana, and you would close that gap, your grandkids will still benefit from that.
Wow. All right, I think with that powerful explanation, let's move to startups. Startups in SA, because that is your area. Is that the area you coach? And if that is, what coaching work do you do for startups?
Okay, we're coaching as far as East Africa, because we've got a seminar that we do every year in Kampala, Uganda, and
I should join you on the next one.
Please. And now, what we do in the Mogobe, we sit down and realize, the only way you can become a better person is to know where you're coming from. Because we always say that trails create trials. If you fall into problems now, trials, and then you sit down and say, but who am I? Beside the Mercedes-Benz that I drive, beside the double story that I own, beside the first class treatment that I get, where am I coming from? Who am I? So when it's bad, the Mogobe will always call Mogobe, the mother,
of course,
to say, Mom, no man, things are bad now. And then she will always bring wisdom, because you remember where you came from. That is why when we're feeling down, going to where you are from, it creates
back
that
to your
peace,
roots.
the roots. Now, sitting down, I realized how hard it was for me as an entrepreneur or a businessman. And I couldn't get this, I couldn't get that, I couldn't get that. And I credit the current system of entrepreneurship, because now the word mentor is now a buzz. But
it's just
years
very
back then,
recent,
I think when you started, you didn't know what is a mentor.
No.
And then you wanted somebody to open a door, just that one person to believe in you. When you say, I want to do this, and then look at saying, Mogobe, are you sure? Are you serious? How about? You know, that's what I sat down and say, I need to help young people in their businesses. So I'm going to coach them and I'm going to mentor them. Coaching is teaching them. And then mentoring is holding them, going with them. And then at most, I'm going to spend my resources, little resources that I get, because I'm taking from the rich and giving to the poor. How am I doing that? I'm doing corporate consulting. So I'm taking from these corporate companies. 10% of what I get, I invest into small businesses. Are you sure you can run that car wash? Let me go and see what is that, what you want to run. We'd go there. For example, Mogobe, I'll go there and then teach you the jurisdiction of Mogobe, population dynamics, statistics analysis, market analysis, and said, this is what you want to go to. Are you ready? Are you sure? Then I'll say, okay, let me put $1,000. Then let's see.
So you're more or less like an angel investor.
Angel investor or capital investor.
Yeah.
So we invest anything less than 5,000, but when it gives us that a glimpse of appetite, then we can go up to 10,000 rands.
Yeah.
And then we buy equity for 12 months from your business to say, okay, we'll give you that 5,000. For the next 12 months, you are under our watch. So we own 40% on gross, not on net. It means your problems are my problems. Wow. If we don't make profit, I don't make profit.
Yeah, we
so
lose, both
if
lose.
we've got 10,000 rands, I've got 4,000 rands. That's my 40%. But we pay everything and then we share the net accordingly.
So do you then in the meantime have people coming in to put up systems in place?
Yeah, during that 12 months, we run the business on your behalf. We put QMS for you, quality management system for you. We help you with branding. We do a starter pack for you. We're teaching you how to do these things, including the growth prospects as to if you want to grow this car wash, this is what you need to improve, this is what you need to put, this is what you need to do. Then when we show that you are good at that, then we say, okay, we can leave.
You do this under Accuracy or Mondo?
No, Accuracy Group. There's
Group.
There's an arm that we call Nkodise Gromi. You know, Nkodise is Gromi, so it's Grow Me. So Nkodise Gromi Fund, that is our arm from Accuracy Group that we invest.
That sounds very exciting. And how many businesses are under your wing now?
We are very choosy. Believe me, we are very choosy because, like I'm saying, we're teaching people not to abuse this word. Business entrepreneurship. Yeah. So normally in a year we say we're going to take 12 into the program. So we don't go anything above 12. So currently we've assisted over 30 enterprises, and then 12 are still. So every year we choose 2 that goes on with us, but these other 10 they can still do with programs that we offer in my office.
So when the enterprise then lands on its feet and starts getting established, do you then ask them to buy you out?
No, 12 months. When it comes, we move out.
Okay, because you'd have already taken your profit, your 40%.
More, even more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and then it's up to the entrepreneur whether to extend or not.
Okay. Then we open mentorship program for them that you can still come and pay mentorship. Yeah. And then what do? We approach corporate companies and said, we've got 12 guys in our program. Can we pay a mentorship fee on their behalf?
And this has been going on for how long?
The past 3 years.
Yeah, sounds very, very exciting. Do you think it's something that is scalable across even in Botswana? Is that something you are thinking of? Yeah,
currently we have partnered with LBN, with Lawrence Timanyana to say, we need to actually we have already set up a visual startup hub for SADC. Yes. And we already have one girl in Namibia and then another girl in Lesotho. We're adopting another guy in Eswatini. So that's adopting the same model. The same model into now SADC. Wow. Because but we'll talk a later about startup SADC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this leads to my next question, because I wanted you to talk about your SADC vision, your vision for SADC, in terms of how you want to spread your tentacles and your investments across SADC. What is the dream?
Dr. Mogobe, we have to agree. You are into estate.
Real estate, yeah.
Real estate. It shouldn't be hard for you to go and build the same business model in Namibia. It shouldn't be hard for you to go to South Africa and say, I want to build a block of flats. I want to build this. I want to build a student village for Wits University. It shouldn't be hard. But it becomes hard because there's this thing in Africa that continues to hamper and hinder us in terms of growing, which is regulations. These are cosmetic regulations that we have to face in, day out. For example, if I have to do business in Botswana, I need a 50% shareholder in Botswana.
I wasn't aware of that.
So you go to Rwanda, you register a business now. It's 3 o'clock. Before 6 o'clock, you'll be having your registration certificate to operate a business in Rwanda. Why can't we have such systems in Africa? So
we have exceptional leadership in Rwanda.
Yeah. Now, I sat down and say,
among other things,
a lot of us, we are sitting at the outside and then talking to players inside the field, and it doesn't help us. Why can't we put the boots and the kids and get in the field and show them how to play the game? Now, I said to Lawrence, let's start something for SADC. Let's look at how a young girl or a young boy in Botswana, Gaborone, can have the same business idea in South Africa, Johannesburg, and then be able to have the same business in Namibia. So let's create that value chain now. So that's why the startup village SADC was born. Now, we said we can not only end there. How do we make them now, because they're meeting online, how do we make them now to meet now regularly? Then we say, okay, let's March every year, let's now set up what you call startup SADC. That all entrepreneurs from these SADC countries, 15 member states, they meet in one roof.
Is it in the form of a symposium?
A conference. Yeah, to say, bring your potatoes, bring your nuts, bring your olives, bring your t-shirts, bring your whatever you are producing, you are doing. Let's go and set up in Sun City. Let's sit there. Let's bring Tate Mogobe to come and tell you how to do business in Botswana. Then somebody how to do business in Namibia, how to do business. Let's call Minister of Trade and Industry in South Africa when he's hosting us to say, what am I supposed to do business in South Africa? So now after that, we do what you call matchmaking to say, okay, you are in agriculture, I'm in agriculture, how can we work together? I'm in management consulting. They tired to hear me in Botswana. Can you come and share, make a session for me one day? Yeah. So those are lines that we need to create in South Africa, in SADC. So next year we'll be setting up that type of symposium, but build up from this visual hub that we're creating.
So what you're really telling me is that you are thinking, you're not just creating a platform for the entrepreneurs under your cohort. You want to see how you can have a multiplier effect across the region.
True. Yeah. How do we add value? How do we do? How do we grow together? Because this thing of individualism is no longer working for us, and it has proved a lot of time that it's not working for us. That is why when you go to set up business in Mogobe, people will still say, but he comes from Bobono.
Because it's
irrelevant. You understand? So our prime purpose in Africa is economic development. How do we work towards a sustainable socio-economic development, because our macroeconomics is failing. So now we're looking now into microeconomics to say, save us please. And who's microeconomics? Same startups and small businesses.
Okay. Just when you're talking, I was thinking of something similar to the Canton Fair. You know, I've been a couple of times to a fair in China, under the auspices of what you're talking about, where you can actually display your wares and show what you're selling, and then have a central display area for SADC. Do you think it's something that can piggyback on what you have in
Yes, mind? Because what we want, the first 2 years will be in South Africa, Sun City. But now we're saying, Team Botswana, when they come there, they should sit down and say, let's prepare now a pitching paper that we're going to present at Startup SADC to say Botswana must host next year. Then next year, pitching say, we want to host Namibia, we want to host Lesotho. So it must rotate. So when it rotates, that platform of content fair type of a strategy, it goes around. So if somebody cannot afford to go to Sun City in Lesotho, but somebody afforded to go there, takes message back and say, now we can host the same setup in Lesotho. So it becomes products at your doorstep.
Wow, that's wonderful. Let's talk about the Africa, one of my favorite topics, Africa Free Continental Trade Agreement, AfTA. What is your understanding of it, and what are you doing to make it a reality, to bring it into fruition, to apply it?
I believe you are traveling a lot like I do. And I always tell people, if you cannot crack the market of East Africa, you are not an entrepreneur. If you can manage to crack the market code and sell in East Africa, then you are an entrepreneur. And why am I saying that? Because East Africa is one of the regions that I credit today, because their developmental strategy is working for them. I mean, that's the only currently after West Africa, before West Africa, East Africa has one passport. Today when you go to East Africa...
For the three nations.
Yeah.
Uganda,
Today when
Kenya and Tanzania.
Yeah, including Burundi.
Burundi, okay.
Yeah, Burundi wants to pull out from Central Africa to East Africa.
Yes.
And Ethiopia.
Yes.
Now, when you look at how they are doing things, it becomes easier for them to trade amongst themselves. And I'll give you a practical example. When I'm in Africa, I don't fly a lot. I love taking the buses through the road and check.
I was told you drove from
Kigali. Yeah. Normally, yeah, I drove from there.
From Joburg.
Yeah, to here. I took a bus one day from Kigali, Rwanda, to Kampala, Uganda. Tata Mogobe, what I saw from there to there, in between those countries, it's entrepreneurial spirit. People selling. And then this is what caught me. The guy who's selling bananas is not selling apples. But they will stand in the bus here, one with apples, one with bananas, one with biltongs, and say, you can take 3 of them with this much. So that's what we want.
They each provide a discount.
Yeah. But you paying this one with bananas, that 20 shillings, for example. And then you say, okay, well, how much is yours? Is 3 shillings, 3 shillings. But it came through one guy. So that's an ecosystem that we want. So after it's going to open doors for Africa. And I so wish that now the leadership, political leadership, could stay back and give business people an ability to run and a platform to run. Because when there's a political interference, it will start being skewed.
How do you convince them to stay out when they reckon they're the ones who negotiated the treaty? I think it will take some convincing.
It's about time in Africa we know that commerce is not politics. And if we understand, I mean, I guess you travel South Africa a lot.
Yes, a lot.
But till today, you still find it difficult at the border entry, port of entry.
Have to queue for a long time.
For a long time. And those are things that politicians has to look into. And then start losing up when it comes to custom issues. To say custom issues, let it be commerce issues. And then commerce issues, let it be trade and industry issues. So we need people now, not MBA, we need people who are entrepreneurial to run their thing. That is why what makes Silicon Valley today a super setup is because politicians don't even know what is going in there. And I'm telling you again, Rwanda is gonna do that in Africa. So if we can allow...
They're already far ahead.
Far ahead.
Because they allowed entrepreneurship to thrive.
And when you look at, when you are in Nigeria, for you to take your products from Lagos to Accra, Ghana, it's a very difficult process. Because not that people are not able, but the regulations, they make it difficult for you to do that.
Is it because of those very tariffs? Because part of AfTA is targeting what they call tariff barriers. There's two types of barriers: tariff barriers and non-tariff barriers. You think that's a difficulty there?
Yeah, very difficult. But if we can sort out the administration part, then the commerce part will take care of itself. So never confuse the two. Work on your administration part and leave the commerce to commercial people. Because I am the one who knows. Yes, you can bring your administration part, say, I need to check your apples in terms of diseases and stuff. I need to check your meat. But after that, you've done your administration part. Let the commerce take its part.
Now, you're in Botswana for a day or two, am I right?
Yeah.
What triggered this trip and what is it about?
My partner from Ghana, when we met, we discussed this thing of cocoa. Because remember, President Addo said, I'm tired with the Switzerland marriage because it seems like it doesn't have an expiry date. So, and it makes my kids suffer. So it's like a bad step parent.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. Now, they closed the off trade outside the country in terms of cocoa supply to Switzerland and
Completely.
Europe. Yeah. Now, when we are talking, I said, I know a company.
Is it just Ghana or the whole of West Africa?
No, currently it's Ghana because Ghana is the largest producer of cocoa. Yeah. And then I said to him, I know, because he wanted to supply the product into the bottom part of Africa. Then I said, no. I know a lady in Botswana owning Kalahari chocolate. So I think that's your first stop. And then when we are in Botswana, then I can take you to other people that I think can be prominent in terms of doing business in West Africa, because the idea is to promote, is for him to promote West Africa and particularly Ghana in terms of doing business. So that's why we dropped in Botswana.
Okay, that sounds exciting. So we could very soon be manufacturing Ghanaian cocoa here in Botswana and distributing it from here.
Yes.
It's a very exciting prospect, and thank you for doing that. Value chain development is always a challenge. How do we kickstart manufacturing? You've already done something in terms of what you are doing with agro-processing, but what are your overall thoughts as to how we can do it across the continent?
And one thing that people are always telling me is, why do you get these concepts? Because I don't give you desktop information. My 15 years is based on the practical experience and extracting knowledge from the streets more than the book. Why am I saying that? There's a model that I call the A to E model. The A to E model is the value chain model that I created to say, who's owning the ABC, which is the prime spot of trade in Africa? These are big corporates. I'm talking about the production, the warehouse, and the retail.
Those are the big three.
These are the big three. And we still think we can compete with them. And these are people who have land, who produce apples, and take the same apple with their same truck to their warehouse. And in the warehouse, they process the same apple into a juice. And then they take the same apple into their shop into their Pick and Pay.
So they control the
entire value chain. And then when you come with your own 1 hectare apple field, you think you can compete with those people. Forget. Now, you need, if they own 100 hectare, you need 100 SMMEs in agriculture with 1 hectare apple field to make 100 to match their competition. But remember, you don't have a retail space. You don't have a shop to sell those things. You still have to go to them.
To plead with them.
To plead with them. So in every one puller, you will still get 20 tebe. So now it goes back to the 90-10 model. The 90-10 model that I researched says, who controls 90% of the GDP of every country?
I'm sure you're about to tell me.
So now this is what happens. That and I'll make a simple scenario in terms of 100 puller. The 90 cent said 90% of population are consumers. 10% are creators. Now what does it mean? It means in every 100 puller, the 90% will share 10 puller. and the 10% will share 90 pula, which are the creators.
Reminds me of the 90-10, 80-20 rule. Yeah.
So how do we bridge that gap? Because we're still crying to political parties, to governments, to come and bridge the gap. The truth is, there's no government or political party that can close the gap between the rich and the poor. It's only the mindset. So until we re-engineer our mindset and look into this thing and say, my fashion business cannot work without material. So where am I going to get somebody who supply material? Where am I going to get somebody who supply the threads? Who's going to build machines that are doing the patterns for us? Who's going to supply us with the paper of doing the patterns? So now we set up now what we call a hub for fashion designers. So when I want a cotton jacket, this is the shop owned by Mogobe. When I want a hoodie shop, this is the shop. Same spot, owned by Sereme. So
we need a series of hubs.
We need a series of hubs. I don't know if you've been to what we call China City and China Mall in South Africa.
Not recently, no. I know Oriental.
Yeah.
Plaza.
Let's use Oriental Plaza. Look at those shops. Who are in those shops? Are Indians. Why? Because one Indian man created this facility. They say, I know you from Thailand. I know you from India. I know you from... Put there, come and set up your business. So when you want this material, it's not here, you can go to shop B. When shop B doesn't have, you go to shop C. But in this case, if you want our small business packages, when somebody's in Hukunzi, then he said, no, I can't travel to go there to buy
it has to be centralized. It's centralized.
So in South Africa, now in my province, I created what you call tax shop.
Northwest.
Yeah, tax shop accelerator program to say, how do we
accelerator program?
How do we stop Ntate Mogobe to take his 3,000 pula to go to the warehouse to buy stock, and Moss to take his 1,000 pula to go to the warehouse and buy his stock? Why can't we create a platform where 10 of you startups, Mogoditsani, Tlokweng, Muchudi, bring the money into one central portion, and then your 3,000, your 1,000, your 4,000 makes 20,000. Now we can take 10,000 and go to Coca-Cola and say we buy in bulk, and now we come and share. So your share here is 30% because you put 3,000. Take your stock of 30,000. So you buy in lower price and you're going to sell at a competitive price. So when you buy in smaller cost, it gives you now, you need to take your price high. So it doesn't give you a level of competition. So that's why we need to do the value chain.
Yeah, because something like that, I've thought of something like that in the context of, distribution of vegetables. Why don't these vegetable farmers, the small ones, have one central place and have one market to distribute from? What is so difficult about setting up something like that?
You produce it knowing that your products are going to be bought because you are selling consignment.
Yes.
So say after harvesting, we're going to drop at Lobatse or Gaborone where the market is.
Yes.
Then you sign your invoice. They say then your money will come on the 25th. Then you no longer take the battle of going and selling. So people in the hub where everything is put, now they start selling to retail. So it becomes a simple model. So that's how we're going to create a value chain in South Africa.
And you called it AE?
A to E model. Okay. Now the ABC is production, it's warehouse, it's retail.
Wow.
So now here where we fall now, small businesses, we fall in the D&E. The D&E is packaging and transportation.
Wow.
And still we are not good at that. For us to do packaging, we still need to go to bigger companies to give us packaging designs, packaging boxes and stuff. And we still have to take our own, what do you call it in Botswana? This lorry that, I know there's a name for it. Matsilonyana. So you see Matsilonyana going up and down. In the 3 weeks, Matsilonyana is dead. Why? Because he's making a lot of trips for smaller portions. So why can't we take an 8 ton? Say now that we own D&E, which is packaging and transportation. Why can't we maximize on this one and then start doing that?
And you say you've started doing that.
We started
a small way.
We started doing that. So, and what does it tell you? Then we can start owning A, which is production.
Yes.
Because we've got all these small farmers. We've got all these small IT guys.
So is the idea beginning to gain traction in terms of application?
Not now, because people are still skeptical. You know, when you are used to something for a long time, mindset to change, it takes time. But because we are running workshops, more and more of,
and even platforms
like this, and to say, this is what is merchandising, because our small tuck shops, the Sumausu Zarona, they just sell and sell.
They won't get us anyway.
You understand? So now we're teaching them that, guys, even when you run a small tuck shop, you can do merchandising. What is merchandising? Look at your stock take, and you can see this jig has been here for 6 months. Do I still need to sell a jig? Instead of buying 10 jigs, can I buy stock of 6 jigs, and then give 3 jigs for credit?
Wow.
And then start now this one for cash on delivery.
So how long do you think the idea will take to gain traction, to receive universal acceptance?
I'm giving it 3 years. But in 3 years, I've said the first 12 months, meaning by June 2022, they should now starting to understand the concept. By December 2022, there must be our first warehouse where everybody can drop and go.
Let's talk, as we conclude our conversation, about your coaching business. Dividing yourself between all these places all over Africa. What keeps you going? First of all, what do you deliver to the people? What is it, a keynote address? And what keeps you going?
There's something that I'll tell you. You know, I'm popular in Africa than in my country. I'm an author again. I've got 3 books under my belt. Two selling Storms of Life. Storms of Life is about the challenges that we get, and then we hide inside the corner.
Tell me that at the beginning. I was ask you about it, but it's all right.
Yeah,
Storms of Life.
Storms of Life, and the second one was SMME Déjà Vu. SMME, Déjà Vu is a French word. Thinking you are there, you've been here. So and that's what small businesses are suffering from. They think they are there, realizing they've never been there. So somebody gets 10,000 and thinks they're already in a million.
World,
So and learn to celebrate small beginnings.
Small victories.
So people don't do that. Already when you give them 10,000, they start being swelling. And I tell them, swelling is not growth. They think they are already growing. And no, you are swelling. If we can pinch that, it will blow. So that's what we, SMME Déjà Vu are saying. Take the process, learn, and then start knowing that you can start small but thinking big.
And the third book?
The third book, it's Africa is Bleeding, and it's more about the challenges that Africa is facing and the possible solutions that we need to.
Some of which we've dealt with today.
So that's basically my book.
So really, in your coaching or in your presentation, you actually sharing some of your content in the books.
Yeah, I prefer to share general practical things. When you attend my class, you stuff that I teach, you'll never get in the books, because I design my own models. Yes, I design the easiest way of you understanding. So that's what I do. And normally, I've been blessed because corporate now is starting to use my services to say, come and assist us with enterprise development. I develop around 2 enterprise development strategy for very big companies in South Africa, Impala, and now I'm busy concluding with Glencoe, which is one of the biggest mines. I've done enterprise development for AfriSem, which is a cement production company in South Africa. I do a lot of enterprise development coaching for CEDA, small, medium
CEDA
enterprise.
Here in Botswana?
No, in South Africa.
Remember,
in Botswana is CEDA. In South Africa is SEDA.
Oh, okay.
A small enterprise development agency in South Africa.
They do the same thing.
Yeah, they do the same thing. I developed a enterprise development strategy for Northwest Development Corporation when I was still employed there. So it's quite
interesting. And then what do you do? Do you do coaching in other parts of the continent?
I get invitations a lot of time. I was blessed in 2019. I was invited by Tony Lumelu to come to his annual entrepreneurship forum. It was a great experience, and I do a lot of Rwanda, like I'm saying. I do a lot of Uganda. And I think I did about 2 or 3 sessions in Botswana. Yeah, so that's how.
Sounds fascinating
Yeah.
and very interesting. Now,
And
this is
I was invited in Turkey 2019 to share the economic opportunities in Africa.
wow.
So those are.
This is fascinating. I'm really loving it. Tell me, if you were to take a crystal ball and look, 10, 20 years down the line, where do you see Accuracy Group and Mondo Holdings?
The next 20 years is going to be crucial for me because I'm busy designing a model for my entrepreneurship academy. I want to build a school, an institution that is primary and higher education in one platform, entrepreneurship and leadership academy. I want to train about 3,000 young people in the next 20 years.
Wow.
To develop businesses. So I'm going to knock a lot of time in corporates to say, this is the dream. I want Africa to have 3,000 you can make a mess out of 54 countries. If you train about 65 young people, then we'll reach that number.
Yeah, in terms of really intensive training.
Because we've been given a raw deal in Africa, and a serious raw deal, because we've been shown a little bit of what life wants and how the world operates. There are 2 things that lead the world. It's finance and economy. Believe me, anywhere in the world, finance and economy. And if a kid doesn't know these 2 things, it's a waste of time.
Who did us that disfavor? Is it the education system?
I don't call it education system. I call it schooling system.
Schooling system.
Because after schooling, after that 12 years from grade 1 to grade 12, in Botswana it's Form 5. You still realize you need education. That's when you realize I need education. Because not everyone of us wants to be scientists. There's a point where botmas is not going to work for you. There's a point where a low caste is not going to work for you. There's a point where a lot of these things. So how about we create education system now, not schooling system, that a kid, you can identify a scientist at grade 5 to say, no, now he can go and do science. Now he can go and do medicine. This guy is a soccer player. Why do you bother him with 100% in maths? They can go now do sports. This guy can play a piano. Now they can go and do music. So we need to reach that point in Africa. Not that you take, and this is the dictatorial part of it. These kids must go to grade 1 at 7 years. If a kid is mad at 4 years, why do you wait for 7 years? And you take them again for 12 years. That 12 years, when they finish, they are 18 years, 19 years, 17 years.
So you think this education system should be geared towards addressing the talents of the child or the inclinations of the child?
This is what they need to do.
Call it aptitude.
Yeah, we need to know what the country needs and what the country has. Because it's like a family in Dadamaho. You can't keep having kids in the family. You need to look at the budget. You need to look at the economy. You need to look at what you want to go.
No, I agree.
You understand? Now, if you say, you do what you call socio-economic analysis in Botswana. I've got 20 doctors. Based on Botswana population, I need 100 doctors. I'm short of 80. Then we need to go back to our kids now to start looking at them individual talents. That is why America today, they produce best soldiers because they train these kids when they are young. Now, that's where you spot talent because you go to Olympics, America dominates. You go to sports, wherever you go, America dominates because they can spot the talent.
Young.
Now, next door, China. When our kids are busy playing PlayStation, a kid in China is busy designing a laptop.
Wow. Well, it's coming. This is the part of the show where you can get to ask me any question you wish to ask.
What motivates you, Ndata Makhod? I made my research about you and I'm impressed. And I'm saying to myself, how many Mogobes we can have in Africa and change this continent? Because if Mogobe is not vocal in Hokunzi, if kids in Bobonon don't know Mogobe, and that impact is not there. So my question is, what motivates you going every day? And what is your dream in impacting everyone in Botswana? obviously not everyone in terms of every household.
That's an interesting question. I've answered it in many ways. That the objective is not so much what motivates me. The question that I ask myself is that, can I make a difference in the life of someone? Am I able to energize, to inspire, to empower somebody else? So my interest is to make sure that I can use my life as a vehicle for empowerment for others, because I believe that when you've been blessed so that you can become a blessing. So my attitude is to become a blessing, to use my time and my resources to impact others. So I've realized that most of our problems can only be solved through entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial zeal. And I've realized that there's a deficit in terms of entrepreneurship information in Botswana, in terms of our ability to share it. So through this platform, through having people like you, I think I'm able to impact and inspire others. And the sort of feedback I'm getting on social media, it may be a small number, but it's enough to tell me that I should keep going. As long as somebody is, as a result of listening to this, saying to themselves that my problems should not stop me, my challenges are not obstacles. If they can say that after listening to this show, which they will after listening to you, the way you're so on fire, if they can do that, then my life goal is being accomplished.
Dr. Mogobe, you deserve a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
I mean, what you're doing, the universe must never stop looking at you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm touched. Now, this is where now you get to motivate now. Before I start crying, you're making me emotional. You get to look at that camera. You talk to that youngster, whoever it is behind there. It could be a senior entrepreneur, somebody who's facing challenges. Leave them with, words of inspiration, words of motivation.
Thank you, viewers, and I appreciate your time and your support to what Dr. Mogobe is doing. Like I said, my name is Sereme. I'm the Aston Martin of Enterprise Development. There are 3 things I'm going to tell you. Before I tell you, let me tell you. In 2017, I walked 788 kilometers around my province, Northwest, for 25 days for one particular reason: promoting and making awareness of entrepreneurship, culture of entrepreneurship. Because I wanted to tell young people and aspiring entrepreneurs 3 things. Number 1, nobody owes you anything. You are on your own. If you go into think success, you must know that success is action oriented. You need to stand up, you need to go there, you need to make it happen. If you can think of it, you can achieve it. Number 2, never give anyone discount in your life. Never give anyone discount in your life, despite where you're coming from, despite your circumstances. Like we always say, if you are born in a garage, that doesn't make you a car. If you are born poor, that doesn't make you a definition of poverty. Some poor people are so fortunate that they can call other poor people poor. So what does it mean? It means we don't owe anyone anything, and we don't have to give anyone discount in our own lives. Number 3, and which is very, very most important, power of mindset is everything. If you cannot change your mindset to look at things differently, things that you're looking at will never change. So your problems, I don't care where you're coming from, whether your parents divorced, when you don't have bread to eat, when you don't have electricity, it's upon you and the power of your mindset to change that situation. So until then, you'll still look at success and think of it as a miracle. But success is action-oriented.
My turn to clap. Tell them where they reach you. You're accessible on social media. If somebody wants to use your services.
Okay, on Facebook, I'm Sereme. On Twitter, Sereme. On Instagram, Sereme. And my company website is www.accuracygroup.co.za, info@accuracy.co.za. And if you want more information about Startup SADC, www.startupsadc.org. And more often time, I take what you call inboxes, because I believe if you are going to mentor people, if you're going to coach people, if you're going to develop people, they don't bore you. they don't bother you. So you knowing you're going to be a people's property. So on Facebook, every Saturday, 10 o'clock, I'm having what you call breakfast session. You can watch me there on my Facebook Live. And then every Wednesday now we are starting what you call Talk Africa. We want to visit every country in Africa to go and talk to prominent people, to people who can change this continent. We've played the ball for too long. Now it's about time for us to change the game.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed.